One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight on a Tuesday evening. Well, yeah, it's Tuesday. We're going to have a dinner engagement. I don't know how much speaking will be going on, but we'll see MBS and President Trump. As you can see here, they are got the feed up. They're focusing on the, I don't know what part of the White House that is, but that's where I guess we're going to see the guests actually go in. But before that, I got a whole bunch of stuff to cover for you. Now, I'm hoping I can get through all of this before they start the dinner. And if not, I'll have to finish up on the second half. But, oh boy. If you haven't been following news in the last 2.5 hours, all hell is about to break loose. I think at this point, I have no idea. My own supposition at this point is that the Democrats walked off a plank. They walked into the deep end of the pool without a life jacket, and they got taken. I'm going to tell you why as you see some of this stuff that I have for you. And it's becoming apparent. The more I look at, the more I realize these guys screwed themselves. So let me just set the table for you. Earlier today, we watched as they had all kinds of debate on whether or not to pass the so-called Epstein Act and the Epstein bill. And there was a lot of conversation, and Mike Johnson went back and forth, said it's probably going to be unanimous. We're all going to vote for it, but then it's got to go to the Senate. And I need to have these amendments. I got to have these amendments, and I can't do it here. But I'm pretty sure when it gets to the Senate, they're going to do the amendments. And I told you, and I said, listen, this could become a tennis ball. It could go from the House once they all vote it to the Senate, and the Senate tries to get some amendments, and they fix something, and then it comes back to the House. And it might have taken, 3, 4, 5 days. Well, that didn't happen. Looks like they're actually starting on time. I'll have to come back to this. Let me see what they're doing.
Oh, let me see. Hold on.
That's Irene.
Yeah, I can see him.
Wow.
Yeah. If I go to the wide shot, including the building, I see him.
You'll see him.
Well, we don't have to hear the reporters and photographers trying to get their shot. When something happens, we'll just jump back over there. And so I just told you, you're supposed to do that tennis ball effect. It's going to go to the Senate. It's going to get kicked back. They're going to go back and forth. Well, the Senate passed it without any objection whatsoever. Not even a vote. Just go ahead, do it. And at that point, I'm pretty sure some of the Democrats realized we just got hoodwinked. We just got snookered. Not even an objection on the floor. And at that point, if you're a Democrat, you must be thinking, oh, what did we do? Now this stuff is going to come out. But before that, there's a whole lot of stuff that's getting ready to happen. It looks like the choir, or not the choir, but the band is going to play some songs. So this is a beautiful ceremony. We should probably take this, and I'll come back and finish what I was about to talk about. All right, so let's go ahead and cut to this. It just looks beautiful.
You'll see it here in just a second when he shoots off another test. Oh, you can drag the shutter and get all already?
Hi.
Is really coming?
Yeah, I can kind of see him in the dip room.
All right, so they haven't come out yet, but I am not going to. I'm not going to interfere and do my video at this point because obviously something's getting ready to happen, and I don't want to have to interrupt. So, but stay with me after the entire ceremony. I will go over in depth what I'm talking about, and I got some clips I want to show you, and we can talk about some of these clips. But in the meantime, it looks like President Trump is coming out of the White House sometime soon here to meet the arrival of MBS and the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince. So the band's going to play. Looks like it's a rainy night in Washington, D.C., but it's going to be fun, a lot of fun. So let's just wait and see what happens. And when the president comes out, you will hear the music play. Hope you guys are all having a great evening tonight. I'm not sure if you saw, but now there's also something where Hakeem Jeffries has been talking to Epstein. So there's a whole lot of stuff happening that just came out in the last hour or so. So let's listen in.
I better get ready. We're arriving any minute. All right, good talking with you.
I don't know what she said that. Oh.
Nice to see you.
Oh, my.
Of course, I guess.
It's funny, but I'm seeing on like some other notes I've got here that they're not scheduled to even start until 7:15. It's only 6:39 right now, so I'm not really sure when they're going to get this little soiree going. So we can begin. We can begin. Don't want you guys just sitting there waiting and looking at people standing around. Although looking at the military standing around is something I like to do ever since I watched my dad do that a long time ago. All right, so let's just jump in to show you a little bit of what I've seen tonight. Can we just go there, because this is just some amazing stuff.
And Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, you should familiarize yourself with the four corners of this room. Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, get to know that witness chair. You're going to be parked in it for a long time. You're going to have a lot of questions under oath with the subpoena power. And I hope what you're doing is clean and can withstand the scrutiny that everyone on this side of the aisle is going to bring. You think we won't do it. You think you're invincible. You're wrong. Accountability is coming. You've got about a year, and I yield back.
Oh, talking big junk there, hey? Big junk from little Airy. Eric, whatever his name is. Hate that guy. I loathe him. He's scummy. Absolutely scummy. But the part that should bother you is that these are the same people. Eric Swallowwell and his friends. These are the same people who've been saying, weaponization of the government isn't something we should be doing. And he's telling you they plan on doing it a year from now. They're telling people we're going to go after Kristi Noem. We're going to go after Tom Homan. Of course, they're going to go after Trump. These people are pooping in their pants. I'm trying to be nice, use good language here. They know S is about to hit the fan. You want proof? What if I told you that the Democrats obviously are so terrified, they are willing to openly make a video and ask people to commit treason? Get a load of this.
Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now. Americans trust their military,
but that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
Oh, stop right there. Robin was the first one. He's like, what American citizens are running up against the military? Where? Where are American citizens having to face the brunt of the military? I don't know. They just make it up. They just made it up. Hey, listen, they're going after American citizens. No, I would beg you'd have to prove that. I would think you'd have to say, here is where. But no, that's not what they're doing. They're actually just coming out and saying it. Man, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
All right, I want to stop there. Who determines what's an illegal order? If your commanding officer says, go do this, you're telling me that the people in the military have the ability to determine what a legal or illegal order is. You're asking people who are serving in the military to discern what is a legal and illegal order. This is a recipe for absolute disaster. This is a recipe for insurrection. This is a tell. If you played poker, you know what a tell is. This is a tell where they realize something is about to happen. There's no way they would have put this video out if the other dots aren't lining up. They're seeing it coming. They know it's just a matter of time before what we've all been talking about actually takes place. President Trump is going to do the Insurrection Act. They know it. This proves it. And because that's coming, because they're getting wind of it, because they can read the tea leaves, they're trying to undermine it before it begins by telling the military to ignore what your orders are. This is bad.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Know that we have your back. So we've talked about signal and noise quite a bit. We've talked about communications comms. This is a comm. This is a comm to whoever they already have embedded in certain offices. CIA, they named them. We got your back. It's time. Do what you need to do. They're letting people know, whoever these people are, that now is the time you need to begin refusing things. Now here's where it gets really, really worrisome. We already see what the judges are doing. We already know that these district court judges are doing everything to subvert the will of the American people and to go against President Trump. Now, that's not been working enough for them. Now we're just calling for full-on insurrection. Ignore what the president says, ignore what Pete Hegseth says, and just do what we tell you to do. They're going to be giving you illegal orders. Ignore them. We got your back. I have never seen anything like this before in my life. I have never seen elected people of Congress and or the Senate tell the military to ignore what you might hear, to ignore what you will hear, to ignore when President Trump calls out the troops and does the Insurrection Act and or martial law. Ignore it. Now, some of you obviously are in military, maybe law enforcement. How else would you describe this? How else would you describe a third party telling people in the military to ignore the orders and we got your back? We just crossed over a line here at this point that I don't think we can come back from. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm not trying to be over dramatic. When you have people in the government telling the military, don't do what you're told. The entirety of the military is built upon doing what you're told. The entirety of the military is not built upon you trying to discern what is or what isn't illegal. That is something for somebody else to figure out. They realize at this point they can't figure it out. So what they're saying is, go ahead and break ranks, stop whatever he tells you to do, and we'll take it up from here. We'll back you up. This is bad. And I'm not overly saying it. I'm coupling it with what I saw today and how I saw this Epstein thing play out. This is bad. This is really bad.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you. We need you to stand up for our laws.
All right, hold on. All right, so that was amazing. Wow, they both look great together. That was amazing, absolutely amazing. So that was the arrival of MBS, and once they cut to the video inside, we'll go ahead and obviously pull that up as soon as it happens. But all right, so let's continue. We're seeing the Democrat Party at this point looking to do anything and everything to stop what's coming. You know the old saying, nobody can stop what's coming. No one can stop what is coming. It is obvious to me at this point that they know they can't stop it. And so now they've gone beyond just asking the judges to do some things. They're now asking the military to abandon their posts, to actually ignore orders. When you get to a point, and I've never served, so anyone in the comments can say otherwise, but when you get to the point where you are telling people to ignore orders, when you get to the point where people are ignoring the orders, when Pete Hegseth in the chain of command says, this is what you're going to do and when you do it, and people taking it into their own hands and saying, I'm not going to do it. Elise Slotkin and some of these other people have told me, I don't need to follow what you're telling me. They tell me that it's illegal, and they got my back. Boy, I've never been, like I said, in the military, but I got to believe at that point, the person who's making that decision based upon somebody in Congress or in the Senate telling them to ignore an order are putting themselves in grave danger. Is there any other kind? Yes, grave danger. They're obviously putting the country in danger. So you're telling me we have soldiers that are out there doing things in Venezuela or possibly in Mexico or anywhere else in the world who may lay down their weapons, may abandon their posts because some Democrat told them to. You understand that is an absolute disaster waiting to happen. And God forbid it happens here on our soil. God forbid there's something these guys are supposed to be guarding here, not in Mexico or Ukraine or anywhere else, on our soil, and they turn their back. People can get killed. So I think we have now reached that point, that precipice that I think many of us knew was coming. We didn't know it was going to come like this.
Constitution and who we are as Americans. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Wow. I don't even know if that was possibly a communication. Don't give up the ship. What about the people who aren't on ships? I know it's just a saying, but these people are communicating very succinctly to some people. And so I know there's guys like Maximus and other people who understand the severity of what they just said, who understand the severity of people breaking ranks and people in our government publicly telling them to do so. So that was it for me. I got the check marks in the box where it's all over, and then the rest of what I'm going to show you are just other things that tell you get ready. If you're watching this and you just saw that, and what you're going to see the rest of this, get ready. What does get ready mean? I don't know. Whatever you can store up in your garage, whatever morsels you can put together, because I think things are about to get really crazy. Especially with this Epstein stuff. Especially with that. As I showed you earlier, Larry Summers, who's been a staunch Trump critic, had to step away, quote, from public eye because his name was, in there, and he was trying to get advice from Epstein about a Chinese spy that he wanted to, have relations with. And now I'm so sorry. No, you're sorry because you got caught. You're sorry because people saw what you were doing. That's just one person. And then, of course, the email today about Hakeem Jeffries. You guys went after Trump, and now as the veil is coming open, we're about to see a whole bunch of people get named. And I'm not guessing. I'm going to show you that in a while. I showed it to you probably a couple months ago, but I'm not guessing. We already know there's a lot of people's names that are going to come out. God help us, because it's about to get crazy. Absolutely, absolutely nuts crazy with what's about to happen. It's insane. Let me see what you guys think. Angela says it's a correction in time. It has to get worse to get better. Completely. I think it's coming soon, stocking up with all I need right now. And again, I'm not trying to scare people. But if that didn't scare you personally, don't worry about me. if they are to the point now, if we're at that exit on the highway where they're willing to tell soldiers to abandon their posts for the Democrat cause, ooh, we're in a really bad way. Really bad way. You're exactly right, Starfleet. Congress does not have the authority to command the military. So what the hell are they doing? We got your back. No, I don't know how. You're going to pay for my legal fees? You're going to get me out of, the brig? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's see here. I'm ready. Bring it. Good. More of us need to do that. POTUS may not say much about this now. Let the pieces fall where they may. Well, actually, he did say something about the whole Epstein matter. As you brought that up, let me go ahead and show you what President Trump said about the Epstein matter. Here's what he said, which should also scare Democrats. Thank you for bringing that up. I don't care when the Senate passes the House bill, whether tonight or at some other time in the near future. I just don't want Republicans to take their eyes off of all the victories that we've had, including the great big beautiful bill. Closed borders, no men and women's sports or transgender for everyone, adding DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, biggest tax and regulation cuts in history, stopping 8 wars, rebuilding our military, being respected by every country in the world, having trillions of dollars invested in the United States, and you guys picking up $1 trillion from MBS today, having created the hottest country anywhere in the world, and even delivering a huge defeat to the Democrats on the shutdown. Make America great again. Doesn't sound like a guy who's worried about what may get revealed. That's very interesting. I'm going to go more into the Epstein stuff, but let me move ahead with the video while we're waiting for the dinner video to pop up.
It's been 2 weeks since we won the election. We've been pretty busy.
Projects the Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani.
Too often, this is a time of just celebration as opposed to preparation. We want to make it both. A lot of these things are new, but one of them is pretty old. Fundraising. But why are we fundraising? Well, we have less than 50 days until we take office.
All right, so this is Mamdani asking for more money. If that stuff was supposed to be free, you don't need money. Why do you wait? I guess this is part of redistributing the wealth. Give it to me. I want your money. I need your money. Man, this guy's got some cojones.
We have a lot to do. We have to vet the 50,000 resumes we've received. Thank you. We have to keep paying our incredible team. Thank you. And we have to plan not just our inauguration, but our policy implementation.
You're paying your staff? I thought your staff was made up of socialists. They don't need money. They don't need wealth. Oh, it's for other people to give up their money, not your staff. He actually just put this video out. He actually put this video out begging for money so that he can pay his staff who are socialists. Boy, ain't that a mind screw. There are actually people who are going to be giving this guy money, donating millions of dollars to him, and he's the guy saying, we need to redistribute your money. That make any sense? Nope.
Unlike the campaign, transitions do not get public matching funds from the city. So that 8-to-1 match, gone. It's up to us to raise the money. Usually campaigns take that as an opportunity to rely on wealthy donors, but that's not us. You've already been incredible. We've raised more than $1 million in just 2 weeks. Our average donation...
What? They raised $1 million in 2 weeks, but it's not enough. It's not going to get us to January when we actually start getting paychecks. So we need you to give us more and more and more money. Hey, Mamdani, it's $1 million. Checking my calendar. January, when you get inaugurated, is about 6 weeks away. What do you need all this money for? Why do you, as a socialist, need millions before you even get into office? The whole thing was a scam. The whole thing was a scam. And now he's out there smiling and shucking and jiving and telling everybody, give me your money. Yet he's a rich kid. And I'm pretty sure some of the socialists that work with him have money. AOC, Bernie, y'all ain't giving up your millions. You're asking other people to.
Donation is around $77, and more than 12,000 of you have donated so far, which is much lower than the last administration's transition. But we're still asking for your help because we need to raise $4 million in total, so January 1st can be the day we start to deliver.
What in the hell does this guy need $4 million before he takes office? He's going to spend $4 million, or he wants to, before he even takes office. Remember, when he gets inaugurated, he'll start getting a salary. He's going to get money out of the budget for his staff. So we're not talking about after January 1st. That money, it's baked in. What the hell do you need $4 million now for? And the other thing with that is he just revealed something. He said we've only gotten 12,000 donations. You're talking about a city of 8 million people. And out of that 8 million people, you've only been able to twist enough arms to get 12,000 donations. Then how the hell did you win? If people don't want to back you financially, how did you get elected? And what the hell are you going to do? There's no disclosure. Doesn't say what I'm going to do is $4 million.
Start to prepare. I hope very soon not to have to ask you for money. But until then, I'm asking for you to go to transition2025.com and give whatever you can to help build a New York that everyone can afford. This is your city, and I can't wait to get to work.
You want to start by the go, man?
No, I'm good. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe he needs to raise $4 million before he gets into office. This isn't a presidential transition. You know, the presidential transition where you're getting all this stuff in order and you need to spend money. What the hell are you spending in New York $4 million? I can't speak to that. That's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Let's continue.
Secretary, this ICE situation, ICE arresting a man from Uzbekistan earlier this month while he was driving a commercial truck in Kansas. DHS says this 31-year-old Akwar Bozorov was led into the country by Joe Biden's administration. He was wanted in Uzbekistan in 2022 for alleged ties to terrorism. He was granted work authorization in the United States in early 2024. His commercial driver's license was issued in Pennsylvania. And the photo that DHS released even shows him having a real ID, Secretary. You've gone after California for issuing 17,000 commercial driver's licenses to illegals. Is it time to federalize CDL certifications? What are you doing here? And I mean, it's just astounding to me that someone who was tied to terrorism in Uzbekistan actually got a license to drive a commercial vehicle in Kansas.
All right, so as you're watching these things, here's what I want you to imagine, that all of this stuff is connected. The first video with Swalwell talking about how he's going to go after Kristi Noem and Tom Homan. And then the next one where they're telling the military to ignore orders. And Mondami raising money for whatever. And now you're going to hear Sean Duffy talk about these commercial driver's license that they were giving out like tickets at Chuck E. Cheese to anybody and anyone who could basically fog a mirror. Why? Why were they giving these people these CDLs? And when you hear some of the numbers he's about to say, it's going to blow you away.
Yeah, so first off, it goes to show you that Joe Biden and his administration didn't do any background checks on who is coming into the country. They offered them asylum and they offered them work authorizations and then allowed them to go out and get commercial driver's licenses and operate on American roads, endangering American citizens. And so we have had new rules that have come out to say, you know what, we're going to tighten this up. If you come legally, you have a visa or you're coming from one state to another, you can get what's called a non-domiciled CDL. These are the licenses that these foreigners are using. But to tighten up the rules means we're going to have more safety on American roads. But you mentioned 17,000 from California. We think other states have also issued many illegally commercial driver's licenses. There were 200,000 non-domiciled CDLs issued to foreigners.
Wow.
Did you guys hear that? Because some of you guys, I'm just trying to make sure this thing on. You guys okay? 200,000 CDLs, the big rigs, tractor trailers, 200,000 licenses were issued to people who aren't supposed to be here. I have heard some of the craziest stats as we've gone and we've seen what they've done with Section 8 and the hotels and SNAP and the CDLs. I've heard some crazy stuff. But you took people from other countries who were known possible terrorists, and you gave them license to drive giant trucks on the road, and they can't even read the signs. You basically gave these people the ability to transport anything they want anywhere. See, that's what you have to realize under the surface here. Yeah, we gave them the licenses. Now you have to think for over a year, what in the hell have these people been trucking around the country to where, to whom? This is where Sean really has to dig in. You got 200,000 foreigners who got big truck licenses to drive all across America, hauling what? Hauling it where? That, as you think of it right now, you're probably sitting back going, oh my gosh, what could they have done? What could they have transported? Where could they have transported it to? What's out there in waiting that these people have moved all around the country? There's a reason they gave them 200,000 licenses. Everyone's bitching about the H-1B and everything else. Well, why did they give 200,000 licenses to newcomers? Why didn't they hire 200,000 Americans? Those are good paying jobs. Most of them could probably read the street signs. But instead, they purposely, with malice aforethought, as far as I'm concerned, gave these licenses to people who don't belong here. That's not by accident. That's not by accident.
We think 194,000 of them were issued illegally.
Oh my goodness!
And would not comply with our new rule. And so,
no wonder the Democrats are freaking out. Everything is being found out. Hopefully not too late. 194,000 of the 200 they gave out were legally given. So you have people right now, unless they've been able to track down most of them, who are driving right next to you. Driving right down 95. Driving right down I-40. 194,000 of these guys driving big trucks going who knows where, carrying who knows what. And we have no idea. And the fact that we now know that these licenses were given to begin with. Now you see why we're saying get ready? Because, shush, Midas. Because none of this makes any sense.
Again, you've aired these crashes, Maria.
Yeah.
They're horrific. When people can't understand the English language, they can't read signs, and they don't know the rules of our road.
Terrible.
That's a problem. Americans aren't safe. And we also see that there's CDL mills, commercial driver's license mills, where people aren't being properly trained. They're being pushed through, getting licenses, and then again, driving across the country.
Unbelievable.
If I can make one last point, Maria.
Yeah.
It's driving American truckers out of business.
Good.
So why is it that everybody in both left and right are bitching about H-1Bs when there's 200,000 high-paying jobs being given to people who aren't supposed to be here, and nobody's talking about it? Not even the rhinos are talking about it. Hey, there's some people who aren't from here and they're getting H-1Bs. Well, what about the ones who got the CDLs? Nobody's mentioning this. This is a ticking time bomb. I mean, if you think to yourself as you're driving down the road, it's holiday season, you may be going to grandma's for Thanksgiving, and you're passing a big truck and you have no idea who's driving that truck and what they're carrying and where they're going. How many people have to die on American roads because these people shouldn't have CDLs? You know, the one thing, luckily, down here, you know, when you get through like Georgia and the Carolinas, there's weigh stations. And you got to go into these weigh stations and you got to give your documentation. But up in the Northeast, they're just riding around. Just zipping around. Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, just Jersey, just driving wherever you need to. There's no weigh stations that I've seen. Like I said, my brother-in-law used to haul cars. He was an auto transport guy. And he was telling me about some of the stories he had from people who were actually licensed Americans. I can't even imagine what stories he would have talking, if he was still driving, about 200,000. It's scary. It's absolutely frightening to think about.
And American trucking companies driving the wages down. That's not why we're taking this action, but that's a real consequence of having all these foreigners come in. That's a great point. What we're going to do is see those wages rise, and it's still a good paying job in America to be an American truck driver.
Secretary,
Yeah, I know that CDLs, depending on where if you're, you know, long haul, short haul, I mean, you can make six figures. You can easily make your 6 figures, 100 grand, driving one of these trucks. But nobody on the left is complaining that 200,000 of those went to newcomers. And in fact, then they went to a judge, a district court judge, who said you can't stop them. So the judges are working in cohesion with the communists, I won't even call Democrats anymore, saying you can't stop people from driving these trucks. Why not? Why not? I almost feel like it's mandatory. We have to do this. It's crazy. I mean, it's frightening. And so now you got the Democrats freaking out, talking about how they're going to put everybody in jail. Then they're going to say, hey, listen, we want you to ignore whatever orders are given. You got Mandami trying to raise millions of dollars. And then you got CDL. Oh, by the way, in addition to wanting to raise millions of dollars, he doesn't want to follow the laws of the United States. I forgot to tell you this one. He did an interview where the guy asked him if Benjamin Netanyahu came to New York, would you arrest him? And he actually said in the interview, I would follow international law. I'm sorry, New York isn't governed by international law. New York is governed by the laws of New York State and America, the federal and the state laws. I don't care what the United Nations says. I don't care what some international community says about Netanyahu. I wouldn't care whether it was Netanyahu or MBS or anybody else. And you're going to ignore American law and put Benjamin Netanyahu in jail. And he said it without even hesitating. Now understand, they're telling people not to follow orders, and you got a mayor of the biggest city in the country who says, I'm not going to follow the laws of this country. Scout's honor. He said it. Not that there would be a single cop in New York City that would have the cojones to go ahead and arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. And how quickly that person, if they did arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, would be just hauled away by U.S. Marshals. Nonetheless, the mayor-elect of the biggest city of the country, in addition to begging for more money, and he's a socialist, don't ask me what he needs $4 million for. It scares me to think what he's going to do with $4 million. Doesn't want to follow American law. We're getting to a feverish pitch very quickly. Things are just rising up. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then you can just throw in the 200,000 licenses on top. All right, so it's 7:15. This dinner is supposed to kick off at 7:15, so we could be looking at dinner any second right now. So let me take a second and talk to you about Kimchi One. You know, lower triglycerides talk about something that doesn't get enough attention, the microplastics in your arteries, and how they may be silently threatening your heart. New research shows microplastics are not just in oceans or in our drinking water. They're ending up in our blood, causing clots, and they're causing arterial plaque. A recent study analyzing human blood clots found microplastics in 80% of samples taken from people who had heart attacks, strokes, or deep vein thrombosis. But here's a mind-blowing statistic. Cadavers with microplastic plaques are 450% more likely to have died from a heart attack or a stroke. And that's not a small correlation. That's a major red flag for your heart's integrity. The good news is that the probiotics in kimchi have been found to degrade, absorb, and excrete microplastics from the body. Personally, I can tell you that Robin and I have been taking kimchi, and it has indeed been working. And you can feel it. And as you can see, the different studies that have been showed, the effects of fermented kimchi consumption on anthropometric and blood cardiometabolic indicators, a systematic review and meta-analysis of intervention and prospective cohort studies. That's a mouthful, but what it says is it works. A brand new study shows that eating fermented kimchi can help improve fasting glucose, lower your triglycerides, and reduce high blood pressure. Kimchi One from Brightcore Nutrition brings you all the benefits of kimchi in one convenient capsule form. Kimchi One delivers over 900 probiotic strains, plus antioxidants and enzymes that help your body detox naturally. It fights harmful bacteria and protects your arteries from stress caused by microplastics. It helps your body defend itself from the inside out, supporting your gut, your immune system, and your heart. And it's all natural, non-GMO, made right here in the United States. No mess, no order, just simple capsules that work. You can go ahead and get yours if you're so inclined to by going to mybrightcore.com/Barry. Just use the code Barry and you get 25% off your entire order. Or for an even better deal, call my friends at Brightcore for up to 50%, and they'll help educate you and answer your questions as well. So give them a call at 888-418-6738 or go to mybrightcore.com/Barry. I'll be back in 60 seconds, 90 seconds.
Hey everybody, Barry has a couple things to let you know about. Fanfare is giving away a free fishing trip. We're going to fly you and a guest down to South Florida for a 3-day, 2-night getaway. You'll go on a deep-sea fishing trip with Robin, and Barry and Robin will take you and your guest out to dinner. To enter to win, go to fanfareshop.org/fishing. It's easy and it's free to enter. Second, if you'd like to join our private group on X, go to fanfareshop.org/group and join 18,000 fellow patriots. It's a safe space for patriots as it's curated and moderated. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/group. One more thing, if you'd like to be a part of the show, submit a 60-second video by going to fanfareshop.org/submit video. Last, but certainly not least, if you'd like to request a free Bible, please go to fanfareshop.org/Bible. We have a long list, but we're getting them out as soon as we can. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/Bible. Thanks for being a part of the Fanfare family. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
The problem is you have an extremely corrupt program, but up until this administration and with President Trump's direct focus on this and making sure every taxpayer dollar is spent appropriately, we've never really had the opportunity to dig in. So we're going to be talking a lot more about SNAP reform. We've got a lot of people listening now, which is very, very helpful, and to take that program back to its original intent of helping those who are truly needy in our communities, but not to have a massive welfare benefit where so many people are taking advantage of it that shouldn't be.
now says that everyone who's on SNAP is going to have to reapply. Now, this happened, of course.
Okay, so understand, again, the Democrats walked right into it. Hey, you're going to resume SNAP? People got to get their money. Okay. But now what we're going to do is you have to reapply. You're going to have to bring an ID. You're going to have to show people that you are really John Smith. And you're going to have to show people that you're not able-bodied. This is where the rubber's going to meet the road, and these people are going to go bat poop crazy. Because when you go into the office, and so what's your problem? You look like you could, do some work. Why aren't you doing any work? How are these people going to answer this? In addition, you're going to see a bunch of people who just don't even show up because they can't, because they're not from here. This is like saving money by osmosis. These people aren't going to show up to renew or reapply because they know they're not either from here or they're fraudulent or they're able-bodied. You don't want to go walking into this bear trap where someone's going to say, okay, I see ya. What's your problem? What do you mean? I'm here to get my food stamp. Food stamps are for people who can't work. Why are you not working? You see how this thing is going to explode? And how it goes with the other stuff? If they can't have the driver's license and they can't have the free food, and they're gonna and they found a way, which is an easy way, to make sure, we're not withholding any food. We're not withholding any benefits. You just got to go to an office and apply. And don't talk to me. Don't talk to me about it's oppressive and you're making people go someplace they don't have transportation. Because if they don't have transportation, how the hell are they making all these videos going to the supermarket and filling it up with crap? You're kind of stuck here. You're completely stuck. You can't complain it's oppressive to the po peoples when the po peoples be making videos showing you how they're spending your money. So now we've seen your videos, and I have yet to see one really skinny person with their ribs showing that really needs food. I haven't seen any kids running around that are looking like they're going to pass out. All these people that the Democrats said they're going to starve. Have you seen the videos? Have you seen the videos of the people who are making them? Do they look like they're about to starve? I'm not going to give anybody any shame. Not with my belly and stuff. But I ain't got your food stamp money. I'm not asking you, can you give me some money to eat? I'm starving. You don't look like you're starving. Oh, yeah, looks can be deceiving. I am so hungry. I am so hungry. I haven't eaten like in a week, that one lady said. Well, you could use 2 more weeks. Have some water and some bread. You'll be all right. Now they're all going to have to go back in and reapply. Oh, by the way, bring your ID. Because we just can't be giving out this SNAP money to anybody. So we want to make sure that you're getting what you need, but we need to know who you are. How can I give you food and money for food if I don't even know who you are? The Democrats are trapped. Absolutely trapped.
When the government shut down and there was, the SNAP benefits were not getting out to the people.
For 42 million Americans.
For 42 million. Well, we thought Americans.
Inside the country.
People is probably the better. Yep. People.
Yeah. See, the Democrats keep saying American citizens. 42 million people. What happens if we can immediately cut that in half? What if more than half of the people getting SNAP benefits aren't supposed to be getting SNAP benefits or have been fraudulently getting SNAP benefits because they're getting them in one city and getting them sent to them in another city, and they have like 8 accounts. Plus the dead people. I want to see this number as the reapplications begin. How much will that drop? That might be a hefty drop.
And so Brooke Rollins, we had her on and we had a great conversation with her where she said, hey, listen, this whole SNAP benefits conversation around the shutdown has sort of pulled the curtain back, and people are seeing how many people are on SNAP that aren't actually citizens, and they're going to have to reapply. What do you make of this? I think it's very popular, especially if you go online and look at what people think. I think it's a popular initiative to say these benefits are for Americans. Is she going to be able to accomplish this? Is she going to have some legal challenges to it?
Oh, of course. You can bet they are going to sue everybody. This is one of the last pillars of the Democrat Party. You know about USAID, you know about the Department of Education. All their funneling is being taken away. And as you've been watching this show for the last 30 or 40 minutes, and you see what's happening, tell me how these pollsters who are out there dooming, glooming, not taking all of this into account. Of course there's people complaining. Of course there's people bitching and whining. Because we're doing things systematically to get these people out of here. You can't measure that in a poll. You want to prove it? Hey, you, Mr. Pollster, go ahead and call, I don't know, a good sample of people who are on SNAP. Get them to admit, are you a SNAP recipient? Yeah. How long have you been on SNAP? Why have you been on SNAP that long? Do you have a mental or physical issue? And having too many babies isn't a physical or mental issue. Well, it could be mental. I guess they could say, I'm crazy. I can't help having babies. They just keep happening. Every time I look around, there's another one falling out. Maybe that is the mental disease. But absent having falling womb syndrome, what is your excuse, Mr. or Ms., for being on food stamps for 5 years? I have yet to see that poll. You guys can let me know if you've seen it anywhere. I haven't seen any poll that says anything like that. Matter of fact, I haven't even seen a poll taken from people on SNAP. I keep hearing about these polls from these 19-year-olds and these 20-year-olds, and oh my God, the sky's falling in. How about you call the people who are about to be, having to deal with stuff? Call people who are on SNAP. I challenge a pollster to give me the people who are on SNAP in a poll. You won't hear that. No.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm sure. You know everything that comes from the Trump administration. I just track it and see how long it takes for it to land at the Supreme Court. So there are going to be legal challenges. But the thing is, most of these programs with SNAP are administered by the states. And a lot of the states do have verification programs where people have to update every 3 to 6 months or, really establish that they got some kind of need. But maybe she's proposing something at the federal level that would then have a federal component for, applying and proving that you actually need this. Because I think all of us are compassionate Americans. Like, we want our fellow Americans to get help when they need it. And we've all known people, if not our own families, that have walked through these periods of needing this kind of help. But Secretary Rollins also said that she found there were 186,000 checks or SNAP benefits going out to people who were dead.
Do the math. If the average SNAP benefit, they say, is like $200, and 186,000 of these SNAP recipients are dead people. People who can't go into the supermarket that I know of. People who can't order Uber Eats or go on Instacart. 200,000 of them getting a couple $100 per month. So the first question I'd like to know is, who is cashing that? If you have put out or funded an EBT account, then you know where you sent the money. If that person is dead, it should be easy to see, well, there should be a whole bunch of money stored up because they're dead. If there's no money in there, then you got a next problem. Who's spending the money? See, one of the problems with this entire thing, SNAP, is the underbelly of the SNAP culture and how people are selling the cards and doing different things with it and say, give me 50% and you can have the other. It's all craziness. The point of sale, where was that card swiped? Go see that store owner. Check them out. Who's selling? How are dead people buying groceries? And for how long? You take 180,000 times the average benefit of $200. And that's just 1 month. Somebody says, I've been doing it for 5 years. At 186,000 times $200 times 60 months. You starting to see how this stuff is all tied together and the Democrats are freaking? They should be. And all they have to fight it at this point, it's not Hakeem Jeffries. Definitely ain't Nancy Pelosi. She's checked out. It's not even AOC. It's the courts. They have nothing they can do at this point as all this stuff is being peeled away. And now tonight, the biggest one. I think the biggest one got peeled away, and I think they walked right into it. We'll get to that in a second.
So if that's accurate, that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg, and there are other problems with the program too. So I think a lot of Americans would say, gosh, I didn't realize before we were having this conversation there were 42 million people on these benefits.
Yeah, I'd like to know that. How many of you, before this entire thing got a light shined on it, how many of you realized 42 million people were getting SNAP benefits? Nearly a quarter of the country, 300 million, 10% is 30, like about 15% of the country is getting food stamps. How many of you knew that this problem had gotten to the point of 42 million people? Now you know, because you got the spotlight shined on it. 42 million. The spotlight ain't done shining.
Maybe it's, not such a bad idea. Just have.
All right, so now I want to get to this. Hopefully I get through this before we get into the rest of this stuff, because this is some really good stuff here. So this morning, I showed you, you watched it. You guys were there for 3.5 hours, and you watched the Democrats scream and kvetch and all kinds of stuff because they had to have the Epstein files. And you saw that Larry Summers already freaked out. His name's all over the place. You saw Hakeem Jeffries is all over the place. And I expected that this was going to bounce back and forth in the Senate before they came up with it. And then this happened.
I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate receives H.R. 4405, the Epstein Files Transparency Act from the House, the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration, the bill be considered read 3 times and passed with no intervening action or debate, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there an objection? Without objection, so ordered.
I don't even think Chucky was expecting that. That is how it got passed tonight. Even the guy saying it just smile. Look at that again. Watch the smile on the guy sitting in the gavel seat. Watch how just watch that again.
I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate receives H.R. 4405, the Epstein Files Transparency Act from the House, the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration, the bill be considered read 3 times and passed with no intervening action or debate, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there an objection?
See, right there, I think Chucky felt, okay, here it is. We're gonna have to fight for this. This is gonna go back and forth, and we're gonna make the Republicans look stupid. But that's not what happened.
Without objection, so ordered.
The Senate has now passed the Epstein bill as soon as it comes over from the House. I yield the floor.
I yield the floor. Oh, crap. What did I get into? Oh, boy, what did we just step into? They just passed it without... Just imagine what all the Democrats were probably sitting there ready to go to battle, ready to say anything they possibly could to Trump and everybody else. No objection. Wait, what? No objection? No, we're good. Go ahead. That has to be chilling. There's got to be people huddled in Washington right now saying to themselves, what the hell did we just do? How did this just happen? They're already out there trying to cover for what they did. They're already out there trying to show people, oh, we might have made a big mistake. Oh, yeah, they are. Let me show you how big this mistake might be, that they're starting to realize, oh, crap, what did we do? Did we just step into another Trump trap? Yeah, I think you did. The latest Democrat conspiracy theory has dropped. Quote, 1,000 FBI agents at a secret facility scrubbed the Trump and Republicans from the Epstein files. That's why Trump wants the files released. These people will never be satisfied. They don't want transparency or justice. They will always move the goalposts by making up unsubstantiated nonsense. Protecting their grift is their top priority. And it's just tweet after tweet after tweet saying, oh, they're only doing it because they've already scrubbed it. That took like no time. Oh my God, they passed it that quick. Oh my God, we are so screwed. Tell everybody, get out there, start posting real quick. Tell everybody. They scrubbed it. They took all the real FBI agents and they put them all out there and said, scrub, scrub, scrub. Because now they're nervous. What do you mean, no objection? No objection? What are you kidding me? Now, no objection, and we know something very, very particular is about to drop. We know for sure that these Epstein files are now coming out. But see, what some of you may not know is what exactly is in some of these. That's already been confirmed and has been confirmed for 6 years, 7 years. We already know. If they really release the Epstein files, if the actual files get out there, what the hell are they going to do about some of the people we already know are in them? Well, Barry, how do you know this is in? Who's in there? Well, in 2019, in case you guys don't remember, maybe some of you guys weren't following this. In 2019, a woman by the name of Amy Robach, I believe that's her name, Amy Robach. She was a up-and-coming star on ABC News. She was doing Dateline. She was doing all the big shows. She was just a rising star. And then one day, Amy was working on a story about Epstein. Oh, and I'm going to have to hold it. So you guys are going to have to wait until after the dinner here, okay? Now, talk about building a hook. There's a hook for you. You got to wait. Sorry. By the way, that's not me muting anything. They haven't turned on the microphones or anything yet inside this beautiful looking room. I mean, absolutely stunningly beautiful. Oh, here comes the music. All right, I'm going to let you guys watch this for a while. That was something in their audio. Wasn't mine. Just saw Jeff Bezos on the end there too. That is Johnny from the World Cup talking to Don Jr. J.D. Vance in the house. Scott Bessent. Looks like Pete Hegseth's right there behind the lady in white. It's amazing how crowded it is in there, and yet Democrats are out there screaming about, we don't need a bigger ballroom. They're all cramped in there. There's like no space. Of course he needs a bigger ballroom. Crazy. Absolutely nuts. That's not me messing with the sound. That is from their feed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and First Lady Melania Trump, accompanied by the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. What an honor. Well, this is a very special occasion, and it is indeed my honor to welcome to the White House a great friend and a man of leadership, vision, courage, and strength, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed Bin Solman of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we had a big day today, a very big day for both countries. We've gotten to know each other well over the years, and he has become a true partner for peace and prosperity for our countries and for the world and for peace in the Middle East, which was a crowning achievement for both of us. And I just want to say that Crown Prince Mohammed, we're delighted to have you with us at the White House. Very special, very, very special. I'd like to also express my gratitude to our wonderful First Lady for organizing this beautiful evening. She worked hard on it. Thank you very much, Melania. Thank you. And we're pleased to be joined as well by Vice President J.D. Vance and his magnificent wife, Usha. Thank you. Thank you, J.D. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and his wife, Kelly. Thank you, Mike, wherever you may be. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Princess Rima. Thank you, Princess Rima. Such an incredible representative of your country. And you really are. We really appreciate it. Great job you do. And members of the Saudi delegation, we want to thank you very much for being with us. We spent a lot of time with you today in the cabinet. You're extremely good negotiators, that I can tell you. So I want to thank you. And we have so many other unbelievable dignitaries. I won't talk too much about you because we'll be here all night. This room is loaded up with the biggest leaders in the world, business, sports. You know, my son is a big fan of Ronaldo, wherever Ronaldo is here. Ronaldo. And Barron got to meet him, and I think he respects his father a little bit more now, just the fact that I introduced you. So I just want to thank you both for being here. Thank you very much. Really an honor. But I want to thank everybody because you have the biggest business leaders in the world. You have the biggest leaders politically anywhere in the world. And I think it's a group that maybe to this extent has never come together quite like this. I only wish we had about 2,000 more seats. We would have filled every one of them 2 times over. But very soon you'll be having that, and we'll have to do another one in about 2 years from now. But we really do. We appreciate it very much. It's a special privilege to welcome His Royal Highness to Washington this year as we mark the 80th anniversary of the first meeting between U.S. President and a Saudi king. 8 decades ago in 1945, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt met with the Crown Prince's own grandfather, the founder of the Saudi Arabian incredible country, and that was King Abdul Aziz on the deck of the U.S. Navy cruiser, and a beautiful one at that. It has become known for that meeting all over the world. The two became immediate and warm friends, and in fact, when we were walking down the Presidential Walk of Fame today, I said, so which one, other than Trump, of course, because Trump absolutely is number one in this category, meaning friend to Saudi Arabia. I said, which is the greatest of the president's friends of Saudi Arabia? And I think you said, very truly, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, he's a Democrat, so I don't know. But I understood it, and it's true. He was a great friend, and right now you have the best friend you've ever had. But ever since, our countries have been enduring partners, and together this evening, we're making that partnership closer and stronger than ever before. And we've never had the relationship, our countries, like this. We had four great years, but things happened today, and documents were signed, and we went through a lot during the first 9 months. And we have a very different Middle East than we had when I first came into office, like I would say day and night. As I saw during my wonderful visit to the kingdom in May, with the Crown Prince's help, Saudi Arabia has made extraordinary strides and grown into an economic engine and really a modern day miracle, an amazing transformation, and all for the good. This opening up of the new avenues of cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia is really unprecedented. And on that trip, Saudi Arabia announced that it will invest an incredible $600 billion. That means jobs. That means jobs. It's also good for your companies, but I'm only interested in the jobs for your country. I'm not interested in the profits, but I guess the profits are there too. But $600 billion in the United States. And today I said, any way you can up that? And he said, I am going to up that to $1 trillion. So he's investing $1 trillion into the United States. And when I was in Saudi Arabia, he looked at me, and I've used his name all over the place because he was the first to say it, but a lot of people have said it after. He said, you know, 1 year ago, we thought your country was dead. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We are the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. So I want to thank you for giving me one of the most effective lines that I have. And I quote you, and I quote some others, but I always put you up at top. But many people have said that. This week, we're also signing exciting agreements on civil nuclear energy, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence, numbers that nobody's ever heard of before. And Jensen, I want to thank you. You had a great meeting of NVIDIA, wherever you may be. And I want to thank Tim Cook and Apple for all of the money that you're investing in the United States. They're both investing $600 billion, and we have numerous other companies in the room that are likewise investing large sums because they believe in what we are doing and what's taken place, this miracle that's taken place in the USA. Together, these will come together. We're going to have support the many thousands of American jobs that have been created and help solidify the USA and the world leader. We're really now by far the world leader in technology, and nobody even questions it. Advanced manufacturing and other vital industries. They were saying 2-3 years ago, when the country was really losing business, not gaining business, that we'll never be manufacturers again, we'll never be doing any of these businesses again, that are coming back to us in record numbers. AI plants, but maybe even most importantly, in a sense, the auto plants. They're all pouring back into the United States. And I have to say, because of tariffs, I'll also say because of November 5th, the election. But because of the tariffs, they're coming back. We have the head of Ford, we have the head of General Motors in the room, and their stock has gone through the roof because what I did with tariffs last week on certain kinds of vehicles, I won't get into it. It's called mid-sized trucks and large trucks. So I wanted to get into it because their stock went through the roof, and they were very happy. They did not really a hell of a lot of work. I gave it to them at their request, and for that, they get a big fat salary. But more importantly, they create jobs all over the country. It's been amazing. And the business you've gotten in the midsize and the large trucks because of what we did with tariffs is incredible. It's incredible. So I congratulate both companies and thank you both for being here very much. And as we announced in May, Saudi Arabia is also making an enormous commitment to building up its own defense capabilities with the largest arms purchase in history, nearly $142 billion worth of American military equipment and services. And as I've said many times, and we've demonstrated just a short while ago, but quite a bit, we make the best military equipment in the world by far. We make the best jets, the best missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world. There's nothing even close. But this will mark and make both of our nations safer and cement the kingdom's role as a key force for stability and security in the Middle East. And they are, I think right now, I can say with what we did with our beautiful B-2 bombers going in and obliterating a very serious nuclear threat, which would have taken place in about a month from that date. They were ready to go. They're not ready to go anymore. They'd like very much to make a deal with us, and they call us, and we'll end up probably doing that. That's Iran. But when you really think about it, Your Majesty, I think that this is the best in terms of safety. Saudi Arabia has never been as safe as it is right now. You always had a little cloud over your head, and sometimes that cloud was very big. That cloud is not there anymore, and we want to keep it that way. So that's why tonight I'm pleased to announce that we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them. And I'm just telling you now for the first time because I wanted to keep a little secret for tonight. I just heard him say, "Oh, that's nice." That's another point you won today. And signing a historic strategic defense agreement, which we just signed a little while ago. So congratulations in South Carolina. A stronger and more capable alliance will advance the interests of both countries, and it will serve the highest interest of peace, and we all share in peace, and we've never had and been so close to truly everlasting peace in the Middle East. All my life I've heard, oh, peace in the Middle East, but it'll never happen. We did it. Now we have to make sure it matures properly and is really as strong as we think it can be, but we've gotten all good signals. I want to just thank you for all the help, too. I want to thank the Crown Prince for the role he played in the transformational peace deal that was achieved last month, and so many of the other things that happened to end the war in Gaza. Gaza, while it looks a little bit messy, it has for many, many years, I will tell you, many decades, but it's getting very close to being perfected, and people are shocked. And even the great experts that have gone around criticizing badly every country and every president and everything, they're all saying that what's taking place in the Middle East is a miracle. They're just calling it a miracle, and we're going to make it a miracle, and we're very close to doing that. But as you know, all of the living hostages were returned to their families. We got all 20 out of 20. And likewise, this sounds terrible, but the parents of the dead people, young men, mostly young men, almost all young men, they wanted those bodies back as much as the parents of the living. The parents of the living would do anything to get their boy back, and they got him back. And the parents of the dead wanted them just as much. It almost seemed as though they wanted them more. And today, through the efforts of Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Marco Rubio and everybody worked together. We worked so hard together. 2 more bodies were brought back, and we're up to almost the full count. I think we're too short right now, and a lot of work has been done by Hamas, and a lot of people said they wouldn't be doing that, but they did do it. And the bodies have been delivered to the families, to the mothers, to the fathers, and at least they can be in peace. It's amazing. It was a miserable period of time. We have 2 more to go, and I think we'll be getting them also. Not easy. That was not easy. Not an easy situation. I've met with many of those parents, and what a time they've had. But we also want to thank all of the people living in Gaza, the residents of Gaza, and they've, as you know, begun to move back to their homes, and a lot more safety. They said today a lot more safety than they've ever had before. It was a rough neighborhood, to put it mildly, and a lot of progress has been made with respect to Gaza and just about everything else we touch. Just yesterday, the United Nations Security Council formally adopted my peace plan and officially endorsed the Board of Peace. This is a board like no other. It will have the heads of major countries, I think all of the major countries. I hope Your Highness will be on the board. You'll accept, I hope. But the Board of Peace will be something that's never even been thought of before. And it's covering Gaza, but it'll end up covering large portions of the world. And I was honored to be chosen the chair of that Board of Peace. And I think you'll see something that nobody's ever seen before in terms of the status of the board. There will never be a board like the board that we're going to be announcing. Everybody wants to be on the board, and it'll end up being quite a large board because it'll be the heads of every major country, and the United Nations passed it. I guess unanimously, you can say. China, which was against it, took a pass, didn't vote against it, and Russia, which was against it, didn't vote against it. So we appreciate it because one negative vote and it doesn't happen. So people were shocked to see that it was approved, and that was a great honor. It's a great honor for me, I will tell you. I think it's something like nobody's ever even imagined. So it's called the Board of Peace, and watch for it because it's going to do some fantastic things. And I know we're both deeply committed to an enduring ceasefire. It grows into the beautiful, lasting peace, and we've got things going at numbers and far ahead of schedule that nobody thought was possible. So, Your Royal Highness, just as my predecessors and so many of the people that you know and love from a long time ago, they bonded with the U.S. and Saudi relationship, which was forged 80 years ago. You and I are strengthening and renewing the alliance, I believe, to levels that were far greater than what they had even 80 years ago, frankly. And we pray that we will be celebrated by our own descendants some days for this incredible relationship that's been built between the United States of America and Saudi Arabia. Someday they maybe will talk about us as being two wonderful men. Forget about great. Wonderful is okay. But two wonderful men that did tremendous work for their countries, and that bond is very important. Our friendship and blessings to America, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and to the world stand out and will always stand out to me. So I look forward to working with you, and we'll be here for 3.25 years. For the Trump, that's like an eternity. You know, for somebody else, that doesn't sound long, but we love doing it. We love, we have an expression, make America great again, and that's what we're doing beyond what anyone even thought possible. So I just want to thank you for being a very big part of it. And I want to thank you for a $1 trillion investment and contribution toward our country. That's a lot of jobs. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please.
Well, it's too hard to speak after Mr. President. No one speaks better than him. But first of all, I will start with thanking Mr. President for the warm and great welcome that we have today. We feel home, and this relation started around close to 9 decades ago with Roosevelt and King Abdulaziz, who established the modern Saudi Arabia. Also, I've known that America is almost celebrating 250 years of establishment, and also in 2 years we will celebrate in Saudi Arabia 300 years of establishing Saudi Arabia. We've been since the last 9 decades working together in many areas. During the World War II, we was a major supplier for oil. During the Cold War, countering extremism, terrorism, but during that time, we've been also working on a lot of economical opportunities. But today, it's a special day. We think the horizon of the economical cooperation between Saudi Arabia and the rest of America, it's bigger and wider in many areas. We've been signing a lot of agreements that are going to open the door to develop the relation deeper in many areas, and we're going to work on it. We believe the opportunities is huge, so we're going to focus on implementation and keep increasing the opportunities between our both countries. So thank you again, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
And also, before I come here, someone told me that there is in some of the bidding sites that they are bidding on me wearing black suits, and if you bid on me wearing black suits, I'm coming here with the black suits, they're going to get almost 17x. So I want to tell them, sorry, you lose the bid. Maybe next time. So thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Very much.
I guess that's where they kick the press out and say, get out. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. You don't got a ticket for this. So anyway, that was great seeing the two of them both get up and make some comments. MBS, you know that from what I understand, you're not supposed to touch him. You're not supposed to touch the Crown Prince. Yet President Trump keeps patting him on the back and stuff. So I just wonder how that goes over there in their culture, that he keeps touching him and patting him on the back. But he keeps reinforcing that, they're going to bring in $1 trillion There's no way for the Democrats to have a problem. I saw somebody trolling in the chat saying, yeah, $1 trillion, but yeah, people are starving. Go back to blue sky with that crap. Go back, because if there's somebody starving, they're not trying to get fed. I am 100% convinced. As many turkeys as I've delivered in my life, as many things I've done with food banks around the country, if you're hungry, you're not trying. That's all I'm going to say. There is even a food bank here in Boca. So if somebody was hungry, you're going to eat. You may not get your Twinkies and Dolly Madisons, but you're going to eat. So please stop with the people are starving. Maybe in Appalachia, maybe there's no food banks up there and we have to like airlift them in or have, Good Samaritan get up there. People are sick. People are absolutely sick. So what I was going to tell you before the dinner opened up was, I think, as I've been saying, I think the bear trap shut on the Democrats. I think we're about to see some things happening over the next, weeks or so that they didn't expect. They were gung-ho. They were going after Trump. Trump's all over these lists. And I think they got their bluff called today. They expected, just like I did, that the Senate was going to kick it back. And then they were going to go run out on television and say they won't approve it. They're trying to hide it. And they had no objections. And so what I was saying to you is that there are people who are going to be snared, who are going to be caught in this nest that the Democrats can't help. And I'm talking big names. And I have proof for you, because what I'm going to show you, I mentioned her name before, Amy Robach, was with the ABC News, and this is what she said in 2019. 6 years ago, this aired, and I guess Project Veritas got the video. It's been verified. It's 100% true. And as she's talking, I want you to, let's just listen.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air.
All right. She said right there, she's had the story for 3 years. This was in 2019. So she had the story back in 2016. I want you to make sure you understand that. This tape is from 2019. Her first statement, she doesn't realize she's on a microphone. She's like, I've had this since, for 3 years. So it means she had it since 2016. All right.
First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything.
Who did she say she had? Now, she's just talking to a couple people on set here. She doesn't know she's being taped. And when she finds out she's being taped or that she's on a live mic, she doesn't seem to care. She doesn't seem to care. So I want you to hear that one more time, because I'm going to talk about this in a second. Here, talk to us, Amy.
She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now.
So you had all of it. I got pictures, videos. I got it all. I had this story, and they killed it. They wouldn't let me run it. Who is they? And where are the pictures and all the information that Amy had back in 2016? Because in the next few days, if the stuff that she had doesn't surface, somebody needs to drag her into a courtroom and go, where is all this stuff that you had, that you were so pissed off? You had stuff on Clinton, you had this, you had pictures. The Democrats just opened the door for this video now to be run everywhere. It won't be. It won't be. You can guarantee they want to bury this, but someone's going to have to explain and contact Amy and say, where is all this stuff? And who told you you couldn't run with it? And why did they say you couldn't run with it? And then what happened with all the materials that you already had from 2016? Which in my estimation is 9 years ago. She had it, quote, all. She had it all. Who else has said a number of times, I mean, you might have to think about it, but who else has said, I got it all? I'm pretty sure we've heard President Trump say more than one time, we got it all. You see, so I'm hearing the same lines being said, and I don't know who has what, but that all is what's about to come out, and the Democrats screwed up epically. No wonder they were pushing and pushing. They thought Trump wouldn't do it. They thought Mike Johnson wouldn't do it. They thought John Thune wouldn't do it. And now they're sitting around someplace going, oh, wait a second. If she said she had it in 2016 and she had it all, and it involved Clinton, Bill Clinton, and ABC News covered it up, that's all got to come out. That all has to now come out.
Every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, it was what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
It will be known eventually, which we all now know. We had it all. We have it all. So where'd it go? Where did Amy go? She got banished to like Siberia somewhere. I think she's doing the morning pet show on WABC Fairbanks, Alaska. Up and coming host of a major network show, and poof, gone. Still alive. I've seen her. I've seen some of her coverage as she does the cupcake contest in Boise or something. Not that there's anything wrong with cupcakes in Boise, but it's a little bit less controversial than having all the goods on Bill Clinton. Why is it that since 2016, not a single Democrat, well, not even a Republican, has come out and said, well, number one, have they even mentioned Amy's name? In all the hearings, hey, listen, we need to bring out what Amy Robach had. We need to get all the, she had it all. She had Clinton, she had this, she had that. Where is it? Now we all need to be asking that. If we don't see the files that Amy Robach had put together, that ABC stuck in a vault someplace, something's wrong. I am not going to be satisfied until I see, and neither should you be satisfied, and neither should the survivors be satisfied until they see those files. Everyone's focusing on Trump. What about this dude? Now, what's the likelihood of those files ever seeing the light of day? Bill Clinton? I mean, that's huge. But yet, none of the people who are survivors were even talking about that. Why? It's already out there. We already know it's there, right? It's in existence. She just said, I had it all. We've seen this for quite some time. Why are they not talking about it? I'll tell you why. Because they're too interested in coming after President Trump. They want to take President Trump down in the worst way. That's who they want. That's the big thing that everyone's going after. Here, let me prove it to you. Do I have that video? Yeah, listen to this. Listen to this from earlier today.
And to the President of the United States of America, who is not here today, I want to send a clear message to you. While I do understand that your position has changed on the Epstein files, and I'm grateful that you have pledged to sign this bill, I can't help to be skeptical of what the agenda is. So with that being said, I want to relay this message to you. I am traumatized. I am not stupid. I am traumatized. I am not stupid. You have put us through so much stress, the lockdowns, the halt of these procedures that were supposed to have happened 50 days ago. The Adelita Grijalva who waited to get sworn in and then get upset when you're...
See, this is when I knew the fix was in. This is when it dawned on me that something isn't right here. This woman said that Trump has hurt her because he hasn't allowed the thing to be released. That Trump, he caused the shutdown. Oh, this isn't political at all. He caused the shutdown so that they couldn't release the details. As I said earlier, and somebody got mad at me, I feel for every one of these women who may have gone through what they say they went through. But there is nothing that prevented them from naming names. Oh, as I said earlier, there is one thing. There is one thing. And somebody got mad and said, you don't understand SA survivors. They don't like to come forward. That's not why these ladies aren't not coming forward. Their faces are all over television. They're telling you, it happened to us. So let's not say that these people want privacy, because if they wanted privacy, they wouldn't be pushing for the thing to be released. The ones who want privacy aren't standing in front of a television camera. Those are the ones that are saying, I don't want anybody to know what happened to me. She's out there saying, it happened to me. Ergo, she's releasing her privacy. So the question that begs is, well, why don't you just tell us who did it? Why do you need Congress to release the files? Why are we going through an intermediary when we got all of you standing right there? There's press in front of you. There's a cacophony of microphones. All you'd have to do is come up there and say, Fred Smith, John Smith, Jack Owens. They all did stuff to me. Okay, now we know who they are. Let's go after them. But that's not what they're doing. And it's not because of privacy, because if Jack Smith, not the prosecutor, but my fake name here, did something to that woman in the dark hair, but it comes out in the files that get released this week, what's the difference? If she said, Jack Smith did it to me, versus the file saying, Jack Smith did it to me. There's only one difference. If she went to that microphone and opened her mouth and said, Jack Smith and Fred Jones did this, she'd get sued into oblivion if it wasn't true. So they want these files to say it so they don't have to say the actual words. But what they're missing is, what they're hoping for is a complete Democrat smear of anybody in those files. So that they can say, I didn't say it. It wasn't me. It was in those files that said, blah, 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 blah. You can't sue me. You got to sue Congress. They released all this stuff. But the big problem they're going to have is, if this wasn't a smear campaign, if it just wasn't political, this is where I'm going with this. If this was truly about justice, then when this stuff does hit whatever is in it, if there's any way, shape, or form for people to go after these people, if there's no real statute of limitations still there may be some civil suits, she's going to have to testify. She would have to be, hey, listen, I didn't do it. I don't know what she's talking about. I didn't do it. Well, Barry, your name's right here. I've never been to that place. I don't know what she's talking about. At that point, what are we going to do? See, that's the next thing. We don't know whose names or what. We don't know who had custody of these things. We have no idea what these files even are. And I'm not making any excuses for Donald Trump. I'm just saying this is a freaking nightmare. We don't know. There's a term called the chain of custody. This has been for 10 years. Who has touched it? Who has moved it? Who has redacted? It could be insane what has happened. You think I'm being far-fetched? July 13th wasn't far-fetched. We watched it. There is no way at this point that we can determine the veracity of everything. We saw what happened to Charlie Kirk. We can't get information about anything. And so now these ladies show up happily. This is like the third time I've seen them jumping in front of a microphone, but they're not willing to say anything. At which point, I would just say, why not? If it's not political, if you really want justice, I'd have been screaming from the rooftops a while ago. If I was a person who wanted to be in public. See, if I'm in private and I don't want anybody to know. All right, I understand. But if I keep going to the microphone, every time somebody sticks one in front of me, you have to wonder, well, you're standing right there. This is like the 15th time I've seen you in front of a microphone. Why not just say it? And there's going to be a lot of people, maybe some in the chat here, who are going to be like, maybe she doesn't want to put herself out there. What? It's about to be out there. It doesn't jive. If there's a document that says Sheila got bumpied with Fred, and that's Sheila, and Sheila, after the document comes out, then she's going to tell you Fred did something? Hey, can you confirm that it was Fred who brought you back into the cabana and did this and that? Yes, it was Fred. Well, why the hell did you just didn't say that yesterday? We could have stopped all of this. This could have been a no-brainer. Unless they don't know what's in the file. Whatever this file is. Because they don't know. Imagine that. Imagine this woman and these other 4, 5, or 6 women who have been going to these meetings over and over are saying something happened to me and their names aren't anywhere. Can you imagine that? Hey, listen, I've searched this entire PDF of 29,000 documents. I don't see your name anywhere. Did you go by a different name? Was there a synonym? Did they call you, Cinnamon Girl or something? What? You're not in here. When this happens in the next couple of days or weeks, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 or 9 women that are standing there, and every single one of these women who have come out in front of these microphones who are saying this happened to them, I've got no reason to not believe them. But what happens if their names aren't in any of these so-called files? What happens to them, their credibility, if she says, my name is Susie Woozy? Well, Susie, I don't see any name Susie Woozy in these files. Did they call you something else? Were you known by something? Were you Tiffany with 2 E's? What the hell is going on here? None of your names are in here. This is the problem with this file. We have no idea what's in there. We have no idea what the chain of custody was. We have nothing to prove that these people were actually in it other than the old thing, you have to believe all women.
What is being done is wrong. It's not right. For your own self-serving purposes, this is America. This is land of the free. Land of the free. In 1863, we have a woman on top of the Capitol building represent freedom. I do not feel free today. I don't know if the women behind me feel free today. So I am begging every member of Congress, every representative to step up and choose the chaos. Choose the survivors. Choose the children. Protect the children. All children. You protect all of us equally. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, so I completely agree. I have not even this much against any woman who's been assaulted by anybody. Never mind the Epstein crew. Every single woman who's ever been assaulted has a right to see the guy who did what he did strung up. I don't have any problem with that. In fact, I've had knuckles bloodied from going after guys who have done certain things to friends over the years. I remember when I was way back in college and I was a bouncer, and one of the bartenders, this guy followed her home and he threw her up into the stairwell of her apartment building and tried to get away with something. And she, obviously it was on a college campus. She screamed and the guy, ran. And somebody called me. I picked up the phone and they said, Jane just got attacked. And I started running because I lived in the same complex, and I started running. I'm a big guy, and I ran into this guy who was running the other way. I didn't know anything. And I'm like, dude, look out, I got to get over here. And then when I got there and talked to her, I realized I ran into the guy that had attacked her. And the cops couldn't do anything. Nobody knew anything about it or anything. And one night we're in the club, and I go up to her behind the bar. I tap her on the shoulder. And I go, I just want to ask you a question. I want you to turn around and look at the people sitting at the bar. It was a big place. It had like 8 different bars. But her bar in particular, I said, do me a favor. Just turn around slowly and look and see if you recognize anybody. And so she, okay. And she turned around slowly. And the same guy I recognized was sitting at the corner of the bar. And her eyes just went like that. And I could tell that she knew that was him. Well, obviously, we pounced on the guy. And we did what we needed to do. So I just telling you that story is because it's one of like maybe 50 stories I could tell you from women in my life who have been abused one way or the other, that I have no problem seeing somebody just have to drink out of a straw for the rest of their life if they get off that easy. So I just wanted to say that as a disclaimer. If anybody touched these women and did things to them, they deserve to be dealt with. That being said, this circus that these women are doing, if any of you have known people who have been abused, attacked, or had worse happen to them, you tell me, given the opportunity to point that sucker out, who says no? Who says I'm not going to tell you who did this to me? And even if you were to say, well, they're not doing it, Barry, because they probably had death threats. And because they've had death threats, they're afraid to say something. Well, then what the hell is going to happen when somebody releases a document and says, is this you? I can't say anything because I've been threatened. Well, then what the hell are we talking about? Eventually, you're going to have to verify something in a piece of paper somewhere. So it doesn't make any sense why you just wouldn't say it right now. That same woman I just told you about, I said, I didn't mention where he was. I didn't say where he was sitting. I said, just do me a favor and spin around and take a look at the people sitting at the bar. And she goes, okay. And when she turned around, she stopped. And I said, is that him? And she's like, yeah. She knew instantly. Women who are in this chat who have had some of these issues, you know instantly. You want that taken care of. You're not just going to keep doing press conferences hoping it's... What happens if it's not in the documents? Just saying. That's all I'm saying. And first and foremost, somebody needs to go talk to Amy Roback, because that's where the document I want to see. All right, before we go, I want to show you something else that's very interesting. Talking about people stepping in it. Well, I just saw this video while President Trump was talking. This was Brooke Rollins just a little while ago, smiling broadly about SNAP, almost showing people, we got them. Listen to this.
Hey, I have a handy dandy chart. I was getting to the affordability piece of SNAP. Almost 40% increase under Joe Biden of what was spent in the people that entered the food stamp / SNAP program. That's 40%, of course, they were working to buy the election. But what we have seen and what Doge and our amazing team at USDA, 186,000 dead people are receiving SNAP benefits. 500,000 people are getting paid twice. We've made hundreds of arrests. We have a lot more to do. But this was, I think, an unintended consequence of the Democrats shutting the government down for 43 days, is it shined this very bright light on one of their pet programs and now has given us a platform to completely deconstruct the program, make sure those vulnerable Americans who really need that benefit are going to get it. And for all the rest of the fraudsters and the people who are corrupt and taking advantage of it, we're going to protect the taxpayer too.
We're going to deconstruct the entire SNAP program. That means break it. That means just tear it apart, and we're going to do a mulligan with the SNAP program. We're going to do the whole thing over again. You guys effed up. You really effed up. You've been going to courts. Here's something you can't stop. No, you can't retool this. You have to keep paying them. Oh, and then after that, who's this? Scott Bessent. He was on Brett Baer's show tonight.
What does that look like? I mean, it sounds great, $600 billion to $1 trillion, but how does that roll out? What does it actually look like?
Well, think about if you are another country in the world, what do you look to the U.S. for? What are the sources of American power? And that's what we saw on display here today. First, there's the military. So Saudis are going to be buying F-35s. Coveted by everyone around the world, proof that they are a valuable ally. Two, our great economy and the reserve currency status of the dollar. So they are willing to put in $1 trillion of investment into their portfolio that they already have here. The U.S. is the premier destination in the world. And then three, our technology and innovation economy. Again, they want to invest in that. They want to buy our chips. We are going to partner them with some of the U.S. biggest tech companies. And then there's also a Saudi startup that will be getting a smaller supply of chips that can be built on.
So as I was perusing the audience of the people who were sitting there, and the cameraman must have felt the same way, he kept zooming in on Elon Musk. And as he scanned the room, I saw Jeff Bezos. And then President Trump mentioned Tim Cook. And he also earlier mentioned the people from Google. All these people now that the left is not talking about are coming to meet with President Trump. They're looking to do all kinds of business, and you get somebody like MBS comes in and says, yeah, I'm going to drop $1 trillion, which is such a big number that people, normal people, you and I, sometimes can't even grasp what's happening. And Scott Bessent is out here trying to let people know how this is working. So all the panicans who are saying he's worried about what's going on overseas first instead of America, they don't get it. Or maybe they do, which is why they're complaining, because they know what's coming next. The snip, snip, snip of all the entitlement programs. I showed you, President Trump said, I am not signing anything with Obamacare on it. It ain't happening. Get mad all you want. I'm not running for another office. I got to do what I got to do to save America, which should tell you every single one of these panicans and pollsters are so full of crap, they shouldn't even be allowed to type. This man is going to do what he needs to do. He's going to take the arrows. He's going to make sure things are happening, and you can see it happening. $1 trillion? They can't even comprehend that. $1 trillion. He's reshaping everything from the inside out. There's a reason why he's gone around the world and secured all these deals. Do you know why he has secured all these deals? I'm going to give you my supposition. He has secured all these deals, and he had to get all this financing because he knows when he starts snipping here, he needs clean money. We need money to put in here so that we don't have to rely on SNAP and Obamacare and all this other crap. We'll have so much money that we can make this stuff work. In other words, go back to September of 2024. when my boy, the one I love, can't wait to see him every time he's on TV, and that guy's name was Howard Lutnick. We had so much money. We had so much money. We were rich. And you know why? Tariffs. From that day, you can tell it's been burned in my head because I'm sitting here doing the show and I look, what did he just say? We won't need to pay income tax. Oh, did you forget that? We won't need to pay income tax because we're bringing in so much money. The fact that income tax was brought up that we may be able to do without income tax is the death knell for the Democrat Party. They can't take money out of your pocket. They don't exist. How do I know that? You just saw Mandami. I need $4 million. Or what's going to happen? They're going to take me in a satellite and take me away. I need $4 million before January 1st. Why? Notice in that whole spot, he never told people why. They got to pay staff. You don't need. How big's your staff? $4 million. And there's another reason why he's going around getting the money. And every single one of you knows it. You all know it because you've done it. You've heard it. And I'm going to equate it to something I know you have heard many times. When you get on an airplane and they're showing you about the oxygen dropping and putting it over your face and everything else, and make sure, what do they say? Make sure you put yours on first before you help the kids, because we have to make sure you're okay. And if you're okay, you'll be able to take care of the kids. If you start taking care of the kids and you didn't put your mask on, you might pass out, and then you're of no use to your kids. That is a very simplistic analogy, but President Trump understands these tariffs are going to take care of America. That's the big mask. That's why he did everything overseas. Let me put the big mask on first. I need this before I can take care of these people. If I take care of these people first, the country may not make it. You think of that analogy, because it's so simple, and then when you think about it, you're like, well, wait a second, that makes sense. If I got to take care of the education department and SNAP and Obamacare, but where's the money coming from? Oh, we're in debt up to our eyeballs. We're not going to make it. Okay, so what do? We'll take care of them. Let's go take care of the country first. And if we take care of the country first, yeah, I can breathe. I can breathe again. I'm America. I can breathe. Now I can take care of all this. I hope light bulbs went off in your head at this point. Either that or you're like, Barry, you're absolutely crazy. But I've been thinking about this for a while because so many people kept saying, you know, he's over there doing this with this and doing this with that, because that's what America needs. I'll take care of my kids soon. And now, if you're fixing America's health, if you're fixing the country's health, if the country has now good oxygen, now we can take care of all this stuff. The Democrats have been doing it backwards. Let's take care of all of this, and then where do we get the money from? We'll just keep taxing. We'll just keep taxing the heart of the country to the point where the country can't keep up anymore, and it goes kaput. Because you decided you wanted to take care of all of this first, instead of making sure the country, instead of making sure, as John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Everybody rowing this giant big boat called America and trying to make the entire country work, and everybody doing the same rowing will get that boat going where it needs to go. Not just a few people sitting in the back watching you row, watching me row. No, we need all to row. And so now if you're on SNAP and you can get your ass out and get a job, guess what? You're not getting SNAP. I'm watching the methodical plan be put together, and I'm watching people on both sides completely freak out who aren't thinking. Every single one of these pollster guys, oh, we're going to get wiped out. Did you hear what Trump said today? He actually said it tonight. That's a long time. 3.5 years is that's forever in Trump time. He said it. And when he said it, I'm like, how many people heard when he goes, yeah, we're going to be here for another 3.5 years. I mean, that's forever. You have no idea what's going to happen in 6 months. Never mind 12 months with next year's elections. Everybody's looking at what's going on right now. Oh, it sucks. He's not. You think President Trump is looking at tomorrow? Nah. As a developer and his background, he can't build that skyscraper looking at the basement. You plan the basement and then you make sure everybody keeps building. Democrats just stay here. They stay with the anthill. And so he knows in 3.5 years, I'm probably going to be building another skyscraper. I'm not still looking at this one. The Democrats and some of these rhinos don't get it. So I'm hoping tonight that, some light bulbs went off in your head. Some of you may say, Barry, you're bat poop crazy. Or some of you might say, I never thought of it that way. Let me dwell on that. Go back and watch the tape when Howard Lutnick said it. We were so rich. We didn't need income tax. You know why? Because we had tariffs. And then think to yourself, when's the last time any president has come out and had somebody in a meeting go, yeah, I'll toss in $1 trillion. He's doing it so often, people are getting numb to it. Yeah, I just raised another $1 trillion. Yeah, and Apple, they're putting in $600 billion. And this dude over here, oh yeah, Google, they're putting in $800 billion. He's throwing it around so much people can't do it. They can't process what they're hearing. I've never heard anything like this. What did he say when he's talking to MBS? You've been here 90 years. I mean, not 90, you haven't been, but you know what's been going on. Who's the best president? Who's the man? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I am. Yeah, he's not worried about anything. Ignore the panicans. There's something happening, something much bigger happening, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care what people are saying. You shouldn't either. Enjoy it. You have an opportunity to watch something that is once in a lifetime. If you think I'm lying, go back and try to think of all the presidential meetings you have ever watched in your entire life, depending on how old you are. You're going to have a lot of presidents, and see if any president, if you can remember any president who just haphazardly said, oh, I'm going to put in $600 billion. No, you're not. I need $1 trillion. All right, I'll put $1 trillion. Go ahead, my bro. That's what happened right in front of people. And what did the press do? Oh, Epstein. Get the hell out of here with your Epstein stuff. They hate, yes, still the left hates Trump because he's a winner and they like to lose. No, they hate Trump because their ideology is failing. They can't win unless they have all these sources of funding that they steal from you and steal from other Americans and gaslight the hell out of idiots. They can't win. They can't win with a prosperous population. They can't win if people don't need the government. Imagine where we would be financially as a country if the only people who were getting assistance were the people who actually needed it. The mentally affirmed, the physically infirmed. If those were the only people, and then those people in the bridge category, meaning, they were between jobs, okay. If that was it, how rich would this country be? See, that's actually a trick question. That's a trick question because just thinking about that, just considering, quote, how rich the country could be, it pisses people off because they don't want to hear the prosperity side of things. That's been a psyop that they've been doing on people for decades. Oh, those people over there are bad. Well, what if you become one of those people? Have you thought of, oh, no, I'm comfortable, I'm okay. I don't need that. I didn't ask you that. I did not ask you if you need something. I'm saying if it happened, and I'm not talking about the lottery. Things are going so well, and you open up a business, and the business does 6 figures the first month. You didn't need it. But at that point, you can choose what you want to do with it. If you tomorrow started a new business and you made $50,000 in December, which isn't far-fetched, and another $50,000 in January, would you still be saying right now, I don't need it? Probably not. And if you do feel that way, you probably have relatives you can help. You probably have grandkids you can help. So you do need it. You just don't have it. If you have grandkids or nieces or nephews or anybody that you'd like to see prosper, if you have it, but you don't need it, there's someone in your family who could definitely use it. So please never say, don't say anymore, I'm comfortable, I'm okay, I don't need it. Because as soon as you pick up the phone and call, Uncle Fred or Auntie Rose, and she says, well, I couldn't pay my electric. Hey, here's your electric bill money right here. Gotcha. That's the difference. That's the freedom. Hey, you go to the car place and they go, hey, your muffler's broken. It's going to cost you $400. You didn't need it, but it was there. It was nice that you could do it. That's the kind of America we should be looking at, where you're not ashamed that you got it like that. That's what I'd like to talk about prosperity, because you may not need it now until your eyes open up and go, well, I could use it. I may not need it, but I could use it. It's going to take a complete mind shift. As your president is talking about billions and trillions of dollars that they're doing and what it's going to do for America, he's leaving behind the poverty mindset, and it's really pissing people off. They've gotten comfortable being impoverished. And I'm here to tell you tonight, before I log off, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you can get comfortable being uncomfortable, whatever that uncomfortability is, you're going to make a lot of strides. Like, I didn't think I needed, or I didn't want to hear this prosperity, but damn, this feels good. It really feels good. I wish that for all of you. I wish that for every single one of you, that mindset just disappears and it makes you uncomfortable to the point where you're comfortable feeling uncomfortable. You're afraid to talk about it. Hey, what's going on? Well, I'm thinking about buying a new car. How are you getting a new car? I worked my ass off. That's how. That's how I'm getting a new car. I'm not bragging. I worked. And that mind shift that has to happen is something a lot of people, quote, aren't comfortable with. But you can get comfortable with it really quick. I know. I've seen people. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, this feels good. Change your life. And President Trump's trying to show people, I'm not being facetious, what he's trying to show people, and when he talks, is a completely different America. And unfortunately, some people aren't ready for it. Whoa. They're ready for it. They don't want you to be ready for it. The Marjorie Taylor Greens, the AOCs, the Elizabeth Warren, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Barack Obamas, who have made tens of millions of dollars, but still would go out and say, we got to take care of the poor peoples. It's all a ruse. It's all a ruse. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go tonight. Let me check and see if there's any super chats. I love that you guys were here tonight. As you can tell, seeing that kind of, I just want to let you know, when I see that kind of prosperity in a room, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but it gets me pumped. It gets me so pumped. I'm like, I get off the show, I got to record a couple more spots for some advertisers because I got to collect on that money that these advertisers are offering me. And I've been lazy. I've been slacking. Ashley's been telling me, you got to record this. You got to do it. I'm like, I don't know, I'm tired. When I get off the air, I'm tired. I want to go eat and hang out with the dog and with the dog and the wife and everything. Not in that order. I only say the dog because he's right. Let me show you. Midas, come here. Wake your ass up. Come here, buddy. Come here. They want to see you. He's sleeping. He's been sitting here for 2.5 hours. Here's my buddy. Buddy, look at the camera. Come on. They want to see your face. No, you want to go back into bed, huh? My little buddy. Yeah, but I'm going to have to be up because I got to record some spots and everything else. You go ahead. Shush. Anyway, my buddy. I got to take Buddy to the doctor tomorrow early. Early, he's got to go. All right, let's look at some super chats and then we can get out of here. Well, you can get out of here. I still got work to do after I get off. Lay down, bud. Let me get to, where is it? Where's the super chat? Okay, it's this one. All right. And thank you for indulging me. I really do. I mean, I talk way too much sometimes, but it's because I'm just so pumped. I got so pumped watching that event. When I see that, when I see the captains of industry, it pumps me up. All right, cutting edge. They try to do the same as Petro in the UN. It's pure sedition and treason. Agreed. Tinley, imagine these treasonous activate the sleeper cells. Be ready, that's for sure. Brian Newland, this veteran is watching. I'm stocking up non-perishables. I am locked and loaded, and pew-pews are ready. Bring it on, Dems. These 200,000 CDLs, the next big thing since September 1, 2001. It's a lot of stuff rolling around out there. A lot of stuff. I mean, it's crazy when you think that, these big rigs are out there flying around. Don Juan, thank you, Don Juan. The Democrats gave these CDLs to the newcomers to undercut any strike performed by American-loving truckers. Yeah, I thought they were supposedly for the unions. Yeah, right. Cutting edge, military now. Imagine what thinks they transport all this year's weapons, whatever they want with the cartel. Yeah, that too. Chapo in Nassau and Suffolk County, New York, we have weigh stations, DOT, and inspections. Once you get into the city, it's a free-for-all. Lindsay, it took us 5 days to register a new LLC with U.S. Department of Transportation last week because of the online hoops we had to jump through. Hopefully, Florida will be successful in keeping the wrong people from getting CDLs. I hope so. Carl Hassenauer, Insurrection Act coming soon. I believe so. I believe the military is a master at setting traps. The Dems are on tape suggesting sedition. Military is the only way. Andrew Jackson coming back courtesy of Trump. I fully believe that. Al Phelps, how will somebody reapply for food stamps without ID? They won't be able to. We were told some weren't intelligent enough to obtain an ID or work a computer. Well, you know how to work a video. They're always showing how much money they've stolen from us. So, yeah, good luck with that. Brian says, that's Ramaswamy 2028. Interesting. Larry 1754, my uncle worked as an engineer in Saudi Arabia back in the 50s. I still have a couple true Arabian tapestries he brought back from there. That's one of my bucket lists. I'd like to go out there, maybe to Dubai or someplace. Brian, ABC burned Amy Robach's files. Prove me wrong. I can't, but somebody should talk to her. Somebody should bring her on television and tell us what you had on who. Brian, oh boy, Barry, this could be big. Yeah, it could be very big. Very big. Lupe Murillo, what company's trillion going towards? Well, I'm not sure what you mean, but the trillion, he's not dumping $1 trillion tomorrow. He's making a pledge to fund that much over a couple of years, and it can go to anything that he and President Trump are talking about. So he's investing. Let's see here. I missed a couple. Wait a second. Hold on. Okay, Greg, thank you, Barry. Your airplane analogy opened my mind to the question I wasn't able to figure out. Wheelchair Cowboy Greg in Carlton. Okay, hello. Yeah, just start thinking. Just a girl. Too much winning. The new life, thank you. Tania, Barry should have been detective. I slept in a Holiday Inn. Ernest Walker, where'd that go? It's been a long time since we've seen this kind of prosperity. We need to get used to it. Yeah, I agree. Neo, Barry, thank you for keeping up the message. America is finally getting back to business. God bless our brave president fighting for us all. Great show. Thank you. Donna, is the Supreme Court still considering not allowing? Yes, they're still considering overturning the tariffs. That would be a nightmare. Could they make Trump pay it all back? Yep. He's been telling you, if they go ahead and overturn that, we're done. Stick a fork in us. Christine Mozart, Barry, that $4 million would buy a big, beautiful herd of goats. Oh no, you didn't say that, Christina. When I saw that videotape, I was like, what in the hell are you going to spend $4 million on, and you're not even in office? I mean, I know New York is expensive, but number one, how big is this staff that you're trying to put together, and how much are you paying all these socialists who weren't part of capitalism? But you need $4 million raised to do it. And nobody's asking any questions? You're begging for more money? I thought it was all free. I thought everything was free. Let me just check one thing before we go, see if they release tomorrow's schedule. Tomorrow being Wednesday, I would think we might see a what do you call it? A press conference tomorrow. 1 second, let me check here, see if they posted it. Yes, Wednesday. All right, so here's Wednesday's schedule. Wednesday, tomorrow at 11:30, the president departs the White House, heading to the U.S. Saudi Investment Forum, whatever that is. Then at 12 o'clock, President Trump does a speech at the U.S. Saudi Investment Forum. So we're going to have to go on at 11:30 tomorrow. 11:30, we'll be live with President Trump doing a speech tomorrow at the Saudi Investment Forum. Then at 1:15, he comes back to the White House. That's it. All right, so he's just doing one speech. I'm not sure if it's going to be live. I'll have to check that because I just said it would be. But that's what's going on tomorrow. He's doing a speech at the Saudi Investment Club. If I get access to it, I will definitely turn it on. I'll know that in the morning. So thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight.